Welcome back. So you're feeling stuck, you're feeling that you can't move on from the trauma that you experience, or you're feeling that you don't know what's going on with you because you're constantly feeling on alert. Please stay with me. I'm going to explain what might be happening to you. My name is Salva Pietra. I am a psychotherapist. I see children, adolescents, and adults. And today I'm going to focus on trauma and the impact on your nervous system. So let's start with the what's happening and what's your nervous system. So in your nervous system we have two areas. One is your brain and your spine, which is called the central nervous system, and the other one is your arms and your legs, which is called the peripheral nervous system. That's the expansion of it. Within you, this is a system that works together, and the constant communication. So the arms, the senses will send signals to the brain, and the brain will send signals to your also to your arms, to your legs, to activate, to do some kind of action. So there is also subcategories within that nervous system, and one of the areas I want to touch is the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is normally divided into two, which is the sympathetic nervous system, which is part of your the sympathetic nervous system is part of the system that helps you to survive. It's the system that will send the signals to the brain and your parts of your body to fight, flight, and respond to the threat. Respond if you're in a scary situation. Let's say you are in the jungle and you have experienced, you see a snake. Your sympathetic nervous system will send those signals and start activating those parts of your body to run and to escape. To escape. The other side of the nervous system is the parasympathetic nervous system, which sends signals to calm down your nervous system. So after you run, you just escape. Your parasympathetic nervous system will tell you to calm down because you're safe. So their two nervous systems have different functions, and they work together. So once you have the activation of escape and running or fighting or freeze, your parasympathetic nervous system will send the signals to stop and to come down and regulate homeostasis. Within these responses, we need to understand there could be different responses. Either you fight, as I said, you fight back, and you might stay and fight by the snake. You might flight, you might run away, you might freeze, and you don't know what to do, and just stay there. And also that can be, in the form of being aggressive, in the form of you being paralyzed, in the form of you running as fast as you can, in the form of not knowing what to do, in the form of moving very fast or fighting back, as I said. So these two nervous systems are very important. These two parts of the nervous system are very important, and you need to be aware of these things so you can understand what's happening in your body when you have different responses. Now let's focus on trauma and what happens when you have experienced trauma. As I explained in one of my events, in my post in Facebook, go have a look and check. There is more information there. Trauma can be classified as anything. It could be an accident, it could be severe trauma, and we need to remember trauma is a response. It's a physiological, it's a psychological, emotional, and physical response to an event that's causing you an intense emotion that is distressful. It's stressful. So as I say, it could be an accident, it could be bullying, it could be severe trauma, it could be anything. You don't have to go to work to say that you have been traumatized. You can experience it at home. You can experience it on the street, anywhere. So there are different types of trauma, and there is the acute trauma, which is one event. You might have been in an accident. There is chronic event, when you might be re-experiencing over and over the same trauma. This might be related to domestic abuse. They might be related to constant abuse, as some kids go, constant bullying. You're experiencing those trauma over and over and over. The complex trauma, this is related to different types of traumas. Could be, that you've been to war and then you experience the confrontation, but then you experience another, the different kind of traumas. And also secondary trauma, where you might be helping other people and you might be experiencing what that people is feeling, and that can relate to, for instance, for me, I need to be careful because I sometimes do feel what my clients feel, and also that can have an impact on my body. That's called secondary trauma. So how this trauma affects your nervous system? Because it activates parts of your body. Remember when I said you might be feeling frightened or scared because you sense, your body sense that you are in danger, and it sends immediate response, immediate communication to your brain. So how this trauma affects your nervous system? Because it activates parts of your body. Remember when I said you might be feeling frightened or scared because you sense, your body sense that you are in danger, and it sends immediate response, immediate communication to your brain, to your amygdala, to your hippocampus, and to your prefrontal cortex, which is out here, saying we're in danger, you need to move, you need to leave, you need to act. And this can be in the form of ready to go, ready to flight, ready to, shut down. In those moments, you might remember what was the person wearing, what was happening around you, what was the sound that you listening in those moments, anything that's related to the trauma. And also your thinking becomes obscure. It's difficult to process thinking and think, is it safe, is not safe. You might just completely stop your thinking process, and you might just get into you just not knowing what to do. So when trauma happens, your nervous system is stuck in a survival mode, and you just want to keep surviving over and over and over. And what happens is, when you have constant trauma, you might have a chronic activation and of the response of the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system, when you have constant activation, and that can be present in the form of anxiety, panic attacks, in the form of startle responses, in the form of checking constantly around you what's going on. It can lead to be constantly in alert, and that it's always in alert. Your system, the nervous system, is always in alert. The opposite of it could be that you're shutting down, you just completely give up, and you're just shutting down, and you just don't want to, your body cannot tolerate anymore, and you can be depressed, you can feel numbness, you can feel disconnection. And also it could be the mix of the both. Either you're in a high alert and you shut down completely, you have those states of both shutting down and in alert all the time. Because remember, this is a response that your body is responding, and your body just can't cope. So the constant activation of either shutting down, not responding at all, or numbness, or being in alert, can cause serious problems to your body. And this could be present in illnesses, as I said, panic attacks, in illness, in somatic pains, headaches, stomach aches. Very common in children to see stomach aches, and they might want to vomit, they might want to not to go to school, they might just start crying a lot. So children and adolescents and adults can have different responses on everyone, and this one depends on how your body responds. Not everybody will have the same response. Might have someone might shut down and just go depressed. A child might just not want to go to school, get really anxious. Other children might be okay with it, and then they might react later in a few years. It really depends on your body. It really depends on what how your body is coping and how you respond to those events. So here it is. I had my live event. Go and check. You might get some information from there as well. And I just explained, this is your nervous system. I put in the camera. So this is your nervous system, this is the spine, and we have here the spine, and this is sending messages to your brain, to your legs and your arms and your body to act. So what happens when you have different traumas? You start, we're going to start doing this, representing every trauma you had. So if you had serious, an incident, something going on at work, you might have been bullied at school, anything. So what happens is, I was just saying that this goes like this, and your nervous system stops sending those signals and just starts to being completely dysregulated and not flowing as it should be. And you might get stuck into certain areas. You might start feeling headaches, you might start feeling palpitations, you might start having the stomach aches, as I said, or feeling like vomiting. You might want to not really be around anyone or not going to certain places because your nervous system is sending the wrong signals and it's doing this. It's stuck somewhere. So what you need to do, you need to find help. You need to talk to a psychotherapist. Do let me know. I have help with these situations. You need to retrain your brain to tell it's safe. We can work this out. We can function normal. Also be aware of situations that might be similar to what you experience, and you might be responding to those events. Also, you might be safe, but remember, your body and your nervous system and your mind is remembering and having those flashbacks that you had in the past. Things to be aware: you might be experiencing nightmares, you might be experiencing flashbacks, you might be having difficulty going to calm down, you might be difficulty concentrating, your child might be anxious all the time, you might be feeling into present, you might feel numb and you might not feel any emotions. You might be in a state of shock. Sometimes some clients, they're still in a state of shock and not understanding what happened, not even remembering what happened. You might feel very afraid. You might feel angry and you don't know why. You might be getting into some addictions. Very common for children to get into addictions, especially adolescents. And remember, addictions could be from drugs to alcohol to sugar to things like that. Or OCD, very common as well. Feeling extremely exhausted as well, and not really knowing why. Feeling like you're having these flashbacks, feeling that you're in constant alert, constant checking what's going on around. And also not engaging in creativity. This is very common in children, it's very common in adolescents not to engage in creativity. They might not want to do anything at all. Also, not socializing is very common for kids, not to socialize and just not engaging in socializing. Okay, so be aware of these things. Do get help as soon as you can. I'll be happy to help you. You got my phone number, you got my email. I have helped lots of kids like this, and adolescents and adults. So do get in contact, do get in touch, and get help as soon as possible. And as I said, if you're a parent, do get to know what's going on with your child. If you're suffering from this, also learn about these things so you can heal faster and more effectively. All the best, and I hope this helps. Send me your suggestions for more topics to talk, and I wish you all the best.